1984, a novel written by George Orwell during World War II, depicts a dystopian society where the world as we know today does not exist. Instead, everyone and everything is watched and eavesdropped on in every aspect of life, the enigmatic figure known as Big Brother being the thing to fear most. Around the world, there are nations whose governments enact similar methods akin to the world of 1984 and the means of monitoring its people. In Europe and the United Kingdom, there are arrays of surveillance spread throughout the two nations and the provinces and cities. In each public place, there is an average of at least 70 to 120 total surveillance cameras alone. This problem also extends to the workplace. 62% of executives subject their employees to data gathering technology. Not everyone has confidence in this shift towards more transparency. Less than a third of employees surveyed feel the information is being used responsibly. Most are scared, concerned their data is at risk, around 65%.
I am now with Officer Connect, a resource officer at Mountain Brook High School and a proud member of the Mountain Brook Police Department. Here to ask him a few questions about whether or not in today's world law enforcement brings us closer to the world of 1984 with its technology and the body cameras and equipment its officers use today. So, Officer Connect, what is the likelihood that someone knowing they're being watched will act unruly or in a less than appropriate manner than someone that is not being watched at all?
Well, I think that even if we go back from today and we go back 10 years, you can watch the TV show Cops and know that the camera is on and there's actually a cameraman out there filming and they're still acting poorly. So I don't know that it changes much of the dynamic. If people are going to act poorly, they just act poorly, whether there's a camera watching them or not. That's why we still have the show Cops. And they're still filming people acting poorly. So.
How do the body cameras come into play for the surveillance? Like, how does that affect someone's behavior around an officer knowing that there's a camera filming them?
Well, again, even shows like today, the show Cops has transferred to now what's called Live PD. And those Live PD agencies are filming people and they're still acting poorly. So we know that even with the filming that people are still going to be acting poorly.
The technology that law enforcement uses to observe and also analyze the data and personal information of people, how is that being used to affect society today? And do you think it's necessary or unnecessary?
Well, access to information a lot of times is done by warrant. The police don't have carte blanche access to people's Snapchat accounts or social media accounts. If they have locked accounts, we can't get in. If they have a phone that has a lock code on it, we can't get in that phone without a warrant. So what we're using today to grab information is still being dictated by your constitutional right of Fourth Amendment search and seizure.
Is this information gathered worth invading the privacy of others, or will the information prove useful for other purposes and benefit?
Well, the information that's gathered from a camera on the person of the police officer, that's public information. I mean, you're out there in the public while you're filming. So if you were to film someone inside of their private residence, of course, that would only be used for criminal justice purposes.
Do you think it brings us closer to the world of 1984 where Big Brother is watching you constantly?
No, I don't think that, because for everything that's being recorded, someone would have to watch the video and decipher whether that information is worthy or not. That's a lot of video, even in the police department. You're talking about every car camera, every body camera, cameras attached to the building of the police department, cameras attached to interview rooms, cameras attached to City Hall. Who has time to watch all of that video? And that's just one or two buildings worth of video. You're talking about Big Brother, how much data would that be? You'd have to have 1 billion people watching constantly 1 billion cameras. all at once. There's just not. There's no way that could work.
Thank you, Officer Connect.
Yeah, sure.